Speak, listen, think, act, repeat. Welcome, one and all, to the Left-Wing Kingz podcast. We're back in the building. Today, we're talking about Katt Williams going in on Black Hollywood, how Gen Z and Millennials' view of work might change the workforce forever, and Nikki Haley forgetting about slavery. I want to thank all of our listeners out there on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and Google for checking out the podcast. And I also want to thank everybody for watching us on Facebook, IG, and YouTube. Please feel free to post a comment and we will try to share it during the live stream. I am your head moderator in charge of HMIC Malik, and I'm joined today by my queen, Walanda.
What up?
And King Ace.
Hey.
Let's go ahead and get it cracking, people.
Let's go.
So, damn it, Katt.
It's been a minute.
Damn it, Katt. He had to go there. Katt recently went on the Club Shay Shay podcast and decided to rip Black Hollywood a new a-hole. Okay. He accused Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey of stealing jokes. He accused Ricky Smiley of actually saying that he was the one who had the role of Money Mike on Friday After Next. And then he went in on Kevin Hart, Faison Love. He said some things about Martin. He's talked about a whole lot of people, man. So since that interview, some of the people came back and they disputed the allegations. Some, maybe not so much. But Ace, tell us your feelings about, Katt's interview. And do you think he was telling the truth or other people are telling the truth?
I mean, I got a lot of angles from it, man. And I mean, he pulled a Muhammad Ali, man. He shook up the world, baby. I mean, 17,000 streams, 17 million streams. I'm sorry, on Shay Shay Club Shay Shay, and I was already a fan of the podcast anyway. But man, I mean, he went in. Little background, man, and if you want to check the receipts, back in the 90s when Katt Williams was Cat in the Hat, man, he used to do shows here in San Antonio. He used to do them at BJ's, which is corner East Houston, East Commerce, where it meets everybody in the city, knows where it is. And ironically, just, before he was anybody, had to have a conversation with him. So my take is that's the same guy I knew 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. That was on the thing. Same flow, same function and everything. I know people had a take on Katt Williams, but what I took from that interaction and what I've always taken from him is that he's a real solid dude. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I believe there's lots of truth in what he's saying. A lot of things that he's saying isn't new, especially when he's talking about studios making Black actors dress up in dresses and stuff like that. And if you noticed, if you just sit back there and watch, think about almost any major Black actor, they sooner or later have a role in a dress. Now, not anything about LGBTQ or nothing like that or anything against that, but it's just funny with some of these characters that are depicted, or some of these actors, that somewhere down the line they do that, and we can go into the attack against Black masculinity, whole nother show, but that kinds of falls into play, and there's plenty a lot of research on that. But plain and simple, yeah, man. I mean, the things that he was saying sound like very they there's the receipts out there. You talk about Steve Harvey still in Mark Curry stuff, and when you saw that, I think about it, they even got the footage where Mark Curry says a joke, Steve Harvey says a joke, right, same way, right behind him. They even got you sit down, you think about Hanging Mr. Cooper, you think about the Stevie Harvey show. Yeah, that's pretty much the damn same show. You know what I'm saying? You think about it. So yeah, no, it's a lot of truth and some validation of what he's saying.
Definitely. What I looked at is like, why do people lie? Like, where does it come from? So most of the time it's fear of consequence, right? Which in this play, you don't have any consequences, really. We know who Katt Williams is. A desire to protect themselves or somebody else, or seek approval, maintain a certain image. So I was like, what would be the intent of him coming out, dropping names the way he did? Which I found that was very interesting, because he didn't just say stuff, but he gave specifics on why. And like you said, anything with Katt Williams, people know that he is the person he is on and off the stage. And everybody will say that about his character. So if you look at his character point, people don't argue. They're not arguing saying that Katt Williams necessarily, isn't telling the truth. My only question was, why was he coming out now? But with the podcast, I guess it's real, you know, and so
Yeah.
they came on. I think some people came on
Oh
before,
yeah,
and
no,
so
yeah,
he was
they started the
combating.
fire. They
Okay,
started it.
that's
yeah.
what happened. Okay, so I was
Yeah.
like, why would he say all this
Some
stuff?
of them
But-
started. it.
Some of them. I mean,
Right.
but
Like
yeah,
Ricky Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer,
Okay.
like they had been on Club
Steve
Shay
Harvey
Shay,
was on there.
and
I saw the Steve Harvey
they
interview. Yeah.
actually discussed these things prior to Katt coming on.
Okay, so he was refuting pretty much. He went back and did a follow up. That's
Yeah,
was the only
and
thing
he
that
even
was
said during the whole
Right.
thing. He said, "You know what? I just can't allow these people to come on your show, disrespect you, and
Mhm.
lie to you in your face,
Yeah, pretty much.
without the truth being told and without challenging what they
Right.
said."
Right. And they said that about Katt. They said Katt's real. So he went on the show, was real, and putting
Yeah.
it out there. And like you said, most people did not refute anything. Only one I found two, well, not really refuted, but the one he was talking about with Ice Cube, because he did the movie Friday, and he said it was a rape scene. Ice Cube said he don't play like that. He said there was never a rape scene involved. The pliers, yes, but the rape scene he said that's what Ice Cube said, that he never said anything like that. That wasn't supposed to be in there. And then he shouted out Joe Rogan saying, "You don't want me on your show." And Joe Rogan went back on X and said, "No, please, you like my favorite. You want to come on the show? Let's go." So I don't know if he was using that as a ploy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So I
Joe
think,
Rogan.
but he said he didn't want him. But I was like, maybe that to me was like a ploy, like, hey, let me put my name out there, let me get on more shows so I can get on here and
Katt
speak.
gonna be on whatever the hell show he wants.
Oh yeah, everybody signed up. Katt Williams.
Everybody want this dude, and I'm
17 million.
Yeah.
17 million.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Cedric the
Hey,
Entertainer.
Katt, we got a spot for you here, right here, Katt.
Hey.
You want to open
please.
up too, bro?
If you want to come for free.
Yeah.
So,
We ain't got no money.
Help a brother out. Hey,
you know, so Cedric the Entertainer also refuted the allegations. He said that is his joke. He said he never went backstage and, you know, complimented him on, you know, hey, this is a great joke or whatever. He said he never seen him do that joke. And he said it's his. But I watched the video where it was like a side-by-side comparison of the two jokes.
Yeah.
And they pretty much line up. The only real differences is that Cedric is in a spaceship. Katt's in a car. Cedric don't get out the spaceship because he in space. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he don't push the spaceship because once again he in space. What are he gonna do? So, but everything else basically is pretty much a wrap. It lines up perfectly. And if he did not steal it, he borrowed some elements of that Katt's joke.
Well, comedians are saying, you know, if you ever had a pleasure like going to an open mic, comedian contest, I mean, it ain't nothing uncommon. Comedians take each other's stuff and improvise or do whatever. Sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's done with permission. Sometimes it isn't. And I think a lot of times these guys get higher up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They go to a comedy club and there's a dude that's unknown, or they maybe think he's not gonna go anywhere, and they think he's got a good joke. They take that joke more likely. And so it's like that's not uncommon to hear that. It's just crazy, like people are like in denial of that.
But
like,
see, people take it when they think nobody else is gonna know that they took it.
Yeah.
They don't take it like you don't take Katt Williams' joke thinking he gonna be a superstar one day.
Yeah.
And tell on your ass
that's
you
what
stole
pissed
his
off
joke.
Mark Curry.
You know, exactly. Because Steve straight up stole his joke too. That UPS Halloween joke.
Box.
Ain't no refuting that, bro.
Yeah.
And that's just line for line, fool.
Yeah.
And I saw that comparison too.
Yeah,
And Mark Curry was whoa.
Yeah.
He like, man, you already made it, bro. At this point, Steve Harvey had a TV show, the one that what's her name does now, the Wayfair lady.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson. Yeah. She took over Steve Harvey's show. Now it's hers. But when it was a Steve Harvey show, he went on there and just told this dude's joke.
Yeah.
Just straight up. And he like, bro, you got a TV show, you got Family Feud, you in movies. Why you need to steal from me? I'm still trying to make it, and you stealing from me, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know with our own eyes. This is kind of like a Trump thing. With your own eyes, you see with your own eyes, you know it's probably true. We know Katt's telling the truth about Cedric, because to me, them jokes line up. And Steve Harvey stealing jokes.
Yeah.
Now, to your point, is it common? Yes. Did they fuck up because they stole it from somebody who was gonna come back at them, and somebody who they didn't know was gonna become famous? Yeah. I mean, at the time when Cedric the Entertainer made the Kings of Comedy, he didn't think Katt Williams was gonna blow up like he is now. So I mean, that was your mistake, bro. But you the one lying here. We got video evidence.
And the sad part about it, they were letting them make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't stuff that just happened like recently, like it's been years ago. So I guess what kind of maybe got under Katt Williams' skin was like these guys on podcasts and they go ahead saying this and that, and I know the truth.
He said he gave him a pass.
Yeah.
Like over 10 years ago. But then
They brought it back.
Don't bring it back up, bro.
Yeah.
I gave you a pass.
Yeah.
Let that shit lie. I gave you a pass. Don't bring it up again.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
So yeah, no, it's crazy, man. So yeah, and even the Ricky Smiley part when he starts talking about what's more believable, like they on the set of Friday, and Ricky smiling, complaining that he thinks Katt Williams got a better role and that should be him and blah blah blah. Like even when I think about the movie Friday After Next, I couldn't even see those roles reversed. Like who would say, "Hey man, let's," like you said, let's put him in the Santa suit. Let's make him the
no
pimp.
way Ricky Smiley could do that. Like Mike,
he doesn't come.
Like
that
Money
wasn't even
Mike.
his comedy style.
No.
He don't
You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't even make sense to cast him for that role.
Yeah. So did you see what Ricky Smiley was interviewed and his manager came on there and they talked about it? Did you see that one?
Nah, I didn't see
All
that.
right, so let me break it down. Ricky Smiley said, let me tell you what happened. He said, I had to audition for that role too. I auditioned, and when I auditioned, they told me that I did well. And they didn't say, like, he didn't say anything about the role was his. But he said Katt came in and interviewed after him and auditioned after him. And Katt put his own spin on it. Because originally, when Ricky Smiley auditioned, it was a crackhead that just hung out in the strip mall named Money Mike.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. Because then Katt Williams, and Ricky Smiley said this. He said Katt Williams came in and he turned him into a pimp, put his own spin on it, had his own lines, and he killed it.
Yeah.
He said, I would not want this to be any other way. He said, Money Mike, that character is iconic. He turned it into what he turned it into. And Katt Williams, much props to you for that, because that helped blow up your career. He never even said that it was the other way around. Like he said, like, now, did he go around saying I was supposed to be Money Mike? There's a second part to it. His manager came on that interview and said, well, basically, Ricky had the role. They told Ricky the role was his. He just had to read for it one more time. So his manager was saying that shit. So maybe, I don't know if Ricky Smiley was saying that or his manager, but somebody in his camp was saying that was supposed to be, that was his role first, because they gave it to him and then they gave it to Katt Williams. So that's how I go. And that's believable to me. But Ricky Smiley never said that Katt Williams lied. To your point, Walandi, like you said, there's people like, he didn't say Katt Williams lying. Katt Williams is lying. He's like, nah, that dude, he did write his own lines. He came in and made that his character. It was originally a crackhead that was supposed to be walking through the strip mall and just hanging out. He said he turned him into somebody totally different, and props to him. And he said he loves him. Much love to Katt Williams. One thing I do recognize from this whole fiasco, people are a little bit more afraid of Katt Williams than I thought they would be, especially after that 7th grader whooped his ass. These cats is scared of him. Like, just his words, nigga. When your words carry weight like that, that's powerful.
Well, I think they know his truth, and I think that's his character. And I was looking more into, like, who is Katt Williams? Where does he come from? Like, who is he as a person? And this says what he says. He is a real dude. So what he's saying, he's real. And he's like, so I don't know why they playing with him. I was like, y'all better stop playing with him, because he's going to tell the truth. The one thing they did say, and just maybe in his character itself, it's hard for him to let things go. So I think like he said, like when he gave him that pass and then it comes back up, he's like, oh, so y'all want to play with me? So let's go. So it is what it is.
I walk into a room, heads go down.
Because they know.
I'm a call. I see your ass.
He's very honest.
Doing this and doing that, and I'm gonna call you on it.
Right.
But the only way that you can do or live that way is if you live
that way.
Right.
You know
what I'm saying?
You are.
You can't like he said, these cats, they're all selling their souls, so they don't tell on one another. They in a camp and they tight. They a clique. They ain't gonna tell on each other because they all got dirt on each other. He walk in the room and they all stop. Just like when you the teacher, you come in the room and all the kids all of a sudden get quiet and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's a Hollywood insider, man. So I think that anybody's inside and anybody at his level, they obviously see things and know things other people don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that we take as myth, we may hear of, they probably know it and see it, and that's probably why that is. And now who knows what what's going on, but in this situation, I don't see a reason for him to lie on anybody. I mean, when he was on the show, he could easily talk about his tour and being about it and how great he is, like most people do.
Right.
He opened up, and Shannon Sharp was even like, look, it took me 30 minutes to even get to my first question. He was already going off. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't see no reason for him to lie either. And I also don't see any reason for you to lie by clicking that like button, because I know you like this video. Right. So click the like button, and then also make sure that you subscribe so that you can check out more episodes of Left-Wing Kingz. So Steve Harvey, we kind of touched on him a little bit.
Mhm.
He never came through and said dude was lying. I mean, not even about the ocean. That's the most disappointing part to me, man. And Bernie Mac ain't here to defend himself or say anything, but
Yeah, that was
if
crazy what he said.
if
right?
he went behind dude's back, supposedly went to the casting people or whoever from Ocean's 11 and said, I want Bernie Mac's role and I'll take less money if you give it to me.
Wow,
That's
that's
cold-blooded. That's what be your homeboy.
that's how it's portrayed, right? You know, when you think about the kings of comedy, how tight how tight they were and stuff. So yeah, that's just like, yeah, total betrayal, man, if that's what the case may be. And yeah, I mean, Bernie ain't even here to defend himself on that. I mean, but can you imagine that role without Bernie?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? And like Katt was saying, they have been lying saying they don't want to be movie stars and this and that and yada yada yada. He said the whole objective is to become a movie star. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole objective about it. And you talking about you don't want to be a movie star. And you know, Bernie, we saw Bernie, you know, go from like Def Comedy Jam to like a major player, major movies. And I would say probably out of that Kings of Comedy, and all of them did good, you know.
But Bernie is funny. Yeah.
You know, all of them did good, but Bernie, like, you know, really shined out of that deal. And you know, after this, Bobby Smith, y'all know who Bobby Smith is. He runs Upstage Comedy Lounge, you know, in the city, and he's the owner over there. And he put out a question pretty much stating like, you know, how everybody felt about all the comedians. And I was like, you know, case in point, they all made me laugh one way, shape, or form. I mean, I love Steve Harvey, and even though, you know, this makes him look real suspect, but his comedy, I love some of the jokes that he said, not only when he was in Kings of Comedy, but even when he was hosting like Showtime at the Apollo. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Said's one of my favorites. You know, saw him when he was down here locally. You know what I'm saying? You can go down and name a few. He did give D.L. Hughley his props. And you know, he didn't talk about nobody like Chris Rock.
Yeah, he didn't say
like
Chris
that.
Rock. He didn't say he did talk about Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart went on. So, but Chris Rock, who did we just watch last night, babe?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He didn't say nothing about them.
Yeah. And you know, not knocking
Gary Owen.
Yeah.
He didn't say nothing about him.
We did mention Gary Owen a little bit. He said Gary Owen should have, you know, why he didn't cross over. Though he was saying
yeah. He said, and I don't know if that was
Gary Owen said that.
Yeah, that's right. He said he crossed over.
You know, he doesn't want to cross over.
Yeah, he's like, this is who I am. You know what I mean? This is me.
Yeah.
But
yes, I mean, all of them still funny as hell, you know, or no matter what they said. And I think with Kevin Hart, you know, an underlying thing with us is we love Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a different mold than like you know, come from the Pryor school to the Black Comedy school.
Right. He's silly to me. You know what I mean? Like, he's silly funny to me.
And I think what he is he does his comedy, and not knocking any of his shows, but I think that we let him be a little more mainstream.
Right.
Compared to where, and we don't probably rival him against a lot of Black comics like that. Not saying that he has bad comedy, but you know, we don't look at him and put him against like a Chappelle,
or Chris Rock,
or like a Chris Rock, or Pryor, Richard Pryor, which that kind of all rolls from Richard Pryor on down. And even a Bernie Mac or whatever the case may be, we kind of, because he's had so much commercial success, along with he's like good enough for comedy and stand up, but he's also a real good crossover artist. And I think we love him in both of those aspects. So not taking anything away from it, but it was a good question that Bobby put out there, saying that, hey, how do you feel about these comics? Pretty much, I don't know word from word, but the take I got from it was like, look, man, they're still all funny. Yeah, you know. Now we're learning some truths and some a little bit behind the scenes on them, but no, I'm not gonna say, hey, I ain't gonna look at Cedric the Entertainer no more. You know what I'm saying? Still,
I say ultimately, these people are humans, just like us. You know, I think people forget that. They see a celebrity, right? They see celebrities and they just put them in a whole different box. I'm like, they're people, just like us. We got the same situation, same type of people around you. You got to be careful who you're around, who says what, you know, who you tell things to, you know. So
that made me slow down, because I was like, you know, you're right. Hang on, Mr. Cooper is a Stevie Harvey show. That is, you know, I never really thought about it like that. look
start
at it.
thinking about stuff.
And yeah, you know, if Steve Harvey was sitting on the set of Hang on Mr. Cooper and kind of said, well, you know, I'm gonna take this and go over here and sell the same thing. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of suspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but nobody in this room sit up here and don't know that Hollywood is cutthroat like that.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
And most of the people that are on the top did some cutthroat shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not surprising at all. Now, I didn't know he was wearing a toupee. I just thought he had the freshest cut out there as a box. I didn't know that was a man piece. I didn't know he invented the man weave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
something new.
Yeah, because like you can go right now, somebody try to tighten me up and I'm bald headed. Hey man, just let your hair grow and I spray paint your hair. Dude, I say, man,
I'm good.
I'm too grown for all that, dog. I'm taking it on home. I'm gonna shave it off, man. I mean, I wouldn't even know how I look right now if I had a head full of hair just sitting on my head like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, that's why I didn't know. I was like, come on, Steve. Like I just thought you had the tightest fade in the world. You know what I'm saying? You straight got the man piece. But you've been bald for 22 years. Nigga, like, I ain't know that.
Ain't got a gray hair on his head,
Nothing,
all of that. Come on, bro.
Shit was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, oh, not every dude.
Ain't nothing but a hair hat.
Not every dude with a perfect cut. I'm like, oh man, like black people do that. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had the black toupee, dog. I did not know that, dog.
No.
They got it.
They got it, dog. Come on, Steve. Hey, you know, if I'm Steve, I turn that into an endorsement, man. You know,
might as well.
Might as well. Shoot.
Hey, Kevin Hart seemed to be like kind of calm about the whole thing. I mean, all I saw was like some of his comments on X. He was just like, you know, get it up off your chest, bro.
Let it go.
You know,
I think he took the business approach because he showed and come see my movie Lift or whatever.
Yeah, he trying to turn it into opportunity. Promo.
Hey, you know, that's what I love about Kevin Hart, man. Well, say what you will, man. That dude is a relentless businessman. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, I don't think if we sat up here and named our type 5 comedians, Kevin Hart would really be like one of them. You know, like he's funny enough, but he's not like side hurting funny to me. And that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Other people might have another opinion, but I just think that if we line up black comics, you start naming them, most people ain't gonna put them in this top 5. But if you talk about successful,
right?
Yeah, you know, I think this business model and what he did and how his approach to it, and even with the movies that he landed and everything, I think that's, you know, Sirius Radio, all of that stuff. You can't knock his business hustle. You know what I'm saying?
But your boy was mad at him for taking that Fool's Gold movie. Like, Katt Williams was supposed to be doing that movie. And he had some legal issues, so he couldn't leave the country. And so Kevin Hart took his role. And I'm like, but you mad at that, bro?
You can't be mad about that.
Yeah, you can't be mad at that, man.
It's business.
You know.
Can't be mad at that. I mean, you know,
I don't know if there was homeboys or something. I mean, maybe like kind of say that's like taking my ex-girl or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but it's Hollywood. And I think the one thing a lot of people don't realize, Hollywood, like, yeah, it's a little bit cutthroat like that. Like for real. And I'm not knocking them, but if you got legal problems, can't leave the country.
So I'm supposed to take it because you can't go.
Nah.
So who's supposed to? Somebody else is gonna take it. If I don't take it, it's gonna be somebody else.
They need that Ice-T approach. Ice-T said he ain't turning down nothing. That's money.
Nope.
He did lap in the hood. You know?
Yeah, he sure did. Car Shield. Don't forget about Car Shield.
Him and I'll be sitting there talking about, man, him and Vivica, man, they got to be just giving them racks, dog. Dude, you know they bit a Law and Order. One of them dun. They come on just like a Law and Order. I'm like, man, Law and Order let them get away with that. No Car Shield. You know what I'm saying? They interrogating the guy. He tells somebody, shut up.
Saw it coming.
Just like on Law and Order, shut up.
They unzipping the engine out the body bag.
Yeah. I'm like, no, like, what is Car Shield paying? Like, how many people got Car Shield, dog?
Right.
Like, most people I know got to do cars and a warranty. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I got a car, couldn't even put Car Shield on it. My shit was too old. Like, you can't even get Car Shield.
Yeah. Like, damn. Hey,
man.
but I tell you what, man. Big up to Katt Williams. Like, I mean, I appreciate him for, you know, kind of telling the truth, but also, you know, exposing some of the things because it's important, man. That even if we don't agree with him and why he did it or whatever, I'm just a person about truth, man. And I don't know. To me, I like to know more about these individuals so that I can really make decisions about whether I should be supporting them or not. Because, like, I watch Family Feud probably every day.
Pretty much.
Now I'm like, man, this dude like is a backstabbing, you know, SOB. Should I be watching this dude?
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that come into my mind. Like, and having this additional knowledge to me is helpful for me to make some of the decisions that I make about my support for some of these cats. So
yeah. Hey, just real quick, I know you're about to get out of it, Sean, but I do want to shout out Shannon Sharp. I was always a fan of Shay, and I knew he was a good interview. Always had good shows, but I'm glad that the platform that this was used on was on him, because now I think that he kind of turned into the whatever you want to call him, a Black Barbara Walters or the male Oprah Winfrey, whatever. But I think it's brought his credibility up, his show's credibility. Like, hey, you know what? If I want to be, I want to say something or get on there and do something, especially in our community.
Right.
That's a spot that they're going to go to. So big shout out to Shannon Sharp in this show, man, because I think he does an excellent job. Like I said, I was a fan before this. So, I definitely like, and I like the approach that he did. He kind of let him go and do his thing.
Yeah.
And drank cognac at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, they were saying
like,
he didn't ask follow-up questions. I'm like, he's not a journalist. He's just here like, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. It's not the same thing, so
exactly.
Shout out to him.
Well, hey, what I would like to do is have a conversation with some of these Gen Zs and millennials about work. Okay, we need to talk.
So, hey, some of y'all need to log on. Some of my family members right now, man. Y'all need this one.
Okay, so let's talk about why they need this one. Because a Gen Z social influencer named Ginger4567 created a video on why Gen Z and millennials don't want to work, and it just went viral. Everybody's talking about this video. Now, what she did is she kind of debunked the narrative that Gen Z and millennials are lazy slackers with a deep-seated rebellion against the capitalist machine. She pointed to several factors, a lot of stuff that, she says have turned Gen Z and millennials off from work. Like they don't want to work because there's a lot of contributing factors to that. So, Yolanda, can you talk to us about some of Ginger's arguments or, what's going on in the workforce today, and tell us your feelings on them?
Yeah. And again, these are generalizations because I want to say every Gen Z and every millennial does not fit the same platform, but we do have some issue and some concerns. So even from surveys, it shows that Gen Z is the most challenging to work with, first of all, over millennials, but both of them kind of fall into that. And the New York Post states out that millennials and Gen Z are lazier when it comes to their jobs, when you're looking at Gen X and our baby boomers. So that actually is notated. They have similar preferences, though, at work. They like flexibility, work-life balance, and advancement. And with that, and we as know, because most of us are in the workforce, it is a different world for them. Gen Z has been in a more unrest as they've come up. And millennials, typically of our kids, they've had a better, situation, so we saw our parents working all hard and we tried to give them everything that they wanted. So then here we go. So we kind of created the millennial, we had to create them.
We created them.
Right. Just some stats on the labor market report. So 66% of millennials are employed full-time. 35% of the U.S. workforce are millennials, and millennials represent about 75% of the global workforce by 2025. So by next year, guess who's working? They should be anyway.
We're trying to retire. That's
right.
Why.
So that's the scary thing. If they're lazy and 75% of them are going to be in the workforce, well, good luck. So you better have a good 401k or 403b, whatever you need. All right. Just 57% are satisfied with their pay. So only 57% feel like I'm working and I'm working towards something, I appreciate.
Join the club.
Right. I said that too. I was like, we in it together. Now, in our Gen Z, only 30% of the world's population expected to account for about 27% of the workforce by 2025. So once again, millennials are going to be running things. So good luck to us. And about 72% left job due to not being offered feasible, like flexible workforce, or they don't like their pay. So your Gen Zs, they'll just hop and bop. They'll be like, oh, you don't want to pay me? Okay, I'm gone. Oh, you can't give me the schedule. I can't get this day off. Well, then I quit. So, and these are stats. So they're telling the truth.
Yeah, because you live with a generation Xer that's paying every goddamn thing. That's why. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to leave your job. You ain't got to pay for nothing.
Right.
So. But yeah, and yeah, this ain't that show. But
we're gonna be nice.
Yeah, like 75% is going to be work. Millennials are 35 years old. My boss is a millennial. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. And and what she's saying when I look at it, it's kind of true. Like they look at us, they look at our parents. They don't want to work as hard. They're trying to come up with a bigger and a better way, which I think is a lot of things. And a lot of them are purpose driven when they're looking for what they're trying to do, which is great. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the avenues they want to take, like most people, if you want to do what you want to do, you got to get some kind of education, some kind of experience to do that. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't come and happen overnight. And I think technology and social media kind of open it up to, hey, there's more avenues where I can make money and be okay.
Mhm.
That is true. But just like anything else in life, even with that, you got to be good or you got to be lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I understand. And I don't want to say they're all lazy. I'm not saying that at all. You know what I'm saying? But I just think a lot of times the way they think about getting there and trying to achieve that is sometimes the long way. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
we were just built different. I think a lot of things that we wanted to do in life, we went out and most of the friends that I know, I mean, because shit, let's be real, we got some lazy Generation Xers out there too that I grew up with that, like 50 years old and they still doing the same shit. So let's not
Right.
get it twisted. But most of the people that I kind of know went the avenue. They didn't go to school. They kind of went to the military. I'm talking about in their 20s and 30s.
Right.
They went to a trade school or they just got into the workforce and started working
Mhm.
and got to the position they were in. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's no shortcut, I think, for a lot of these millennials and Generation Xers. Like,
Right.
yeah, you know what? You want to be a social media influencer, but that's easy to say. Like I said, if you still living with your parents and doing that, and they're still buying you everything that you got, once again, that we created that monster. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I love the fact that they look at how we work now or how we were working and saying, hey, we need to change that. We need
Mhm.
some life balance because, like I
Yeah.
said, it was a time, like I remember, when I was probably their age, we worked, we got a cold, we got sick, we went to work. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like we talked about people who didn't come to work when they had, man, what's wrong with you, man? You ain't tough enough to come to work. You lazy or whatever. At least in this generation, like it's a real thing. Like if you sick, stay your ass at home. You know what I'm saying? Don't get everybody else sick. It seems simple, but back in the 90s, we wouldn't think like that. We'd come sneeze in your face and keep on working. You know what I'm saying? Right? Smelling like vapor rub. Be right there and work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sick as a damn dog. You know what I'm saying? So that work-life balance is a great
It's
thing.
right.
Looking at the wages and saying, hey, you know what? In the last 40 years, the economy has went up and gotten better and improved, and wages haven't. So
Right.
I'm not going to just settle for any wages. That's great. But sometimes the argument is how you're going to get there. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I think kind of that's where we're at with them. It's like, yeah, great ideas and great aspects, but you got to do something.
Mhm.
I tell people, like for instance, I say, I was telling people in my family members that are in this age bracket. Man, you think that when I was your age, I wanted to work the jobs I worked. I took kind of what I needed to so I can make money eventually to get where I wanted to be.
Right.
So sometimes you're going to have to work a job that you may not like too much, but work that job and then work towards other things. You just can't sit on the sidelines and say, hey, I'm waiting for something to come land in my
to you.
land
Right.
in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I can't buy a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? No, you gotta do something. So,
Right.
but have a game plan when you do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, like, some of the things that she touched on, like you kind of alluded to, stagnant wages. Like, it's, I think this year there was a few states or multiple states are doing like a raise in the minimum wage or whatever.
Texas ain't one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Somebody
let y'all
got a
know.
bone to pick with Texas.
Texas ain't one.
The skyrocketing cost of living. So when we talk about like they living in a house still, they living with their parents. Well, a lot of these cats can't afford an apartment.
You're right.
They sure as hell can't afford a house. They're not able to save money because every single cent that they make is going towards bills. And then they want to have that work-life balance that you talked about. Like they want to be able to go out with their friends. They want to be able to go on vacation, but they can't do all that stuff. But a few of the things that kind of stand out to me, and I don't disagree with any of that. We should all be able to do all those things. Sometimes that comes with time.
Yeah.
Right? You can't start where you want to finish. You got to get there. To your point, like sometimes you got to take other jobs and work your way up. Like we didn't start off being able to just go on vacations like whenever we wanted to. We didn't start off with a house. We started in apartments. We worked our way to townhouses, then to houses.
Yeah.
There's a progression that you need to go through as you get older and as you start to move forward in your career. The problem is a lot of these people, whether Gen Z, millennial, whatever, feel like once they have a degree, they should be able to just make $1 million for the job that they got their degree in. And two things end up happening. First of all, you may end up in a job that your degree ain't for. And secondly, you still starting off. When you start off with a degree, you could go in there and if anybody's not doing this, start doing this right now. When you get a new job, negotiate for your salary. Do not just go in there and say whatever they give you. You can ask. All they can do is tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you deserve more, ask for more. I've always been, and she will tell you, the proponent of saying you got to ask for what you are worth.
Yeah.
Do never short yourself on that. Right. So even if you just get your degree and you go in, you're going to start off on the bottom floor somewhere, right? Because you don't have experience yet. Experience is also important when it comes to how much your salary is, right? It's not the only component, but it is one of several. Your proficiency, your experience, your education, all those things come into play. It's dynamic. So they feel like, hey, I got a degree in accounting, so I should be making $150,000 a year now.
Can't add worth of shit.
Well, they probably can add worth of shit, but guess what? They ain't gonna get 150 G just starting off when they got somebody been working there 25 years who's making 150 G's.
Yeah,
you're not gonna you ain't gonna start off where I'm at. And if somebody came in the front door and started where I was,
you got a problem.
I'd be mad as hell.
Yeah, you got a problem.
All right. I want to say that too. Like when we're talking about like making and how much money they make. Well, most of the Gen Z, they're going for they want to be a business person or owner. Like you said, they don't want to be sure. They want to be an entrepreneur. I want the control, or a doctor or engineer. Those are the higher end pay scales because they're like, I don't want to work too hard. I just want to come out and make money.
Yep.
And that's the problem. I think their work ethic, I don't want to say it's different. You know, they want kind of instantaneous. They don't want that time frame. They don't see in 10 years, yes, you'll have this. They're like, but I want it right now. Like I'm 22. Yeah, instant gratification. I'm 22. I went to school for X amount of years. I'm ready. Give me my $200,000. You're like, it doesn't work like that. So I think
don't work like that.
In that, but I think their mindset is because they have seen struggle. You know, they've been through COVID. They've been through, again, we see stagnant wages. So I think with them, they're like, I've been through this. I've lived, I've grown up in it. I'm ready. I'm ready to have my nice life. The millennials, the problem with them is they're so debt heavy. That's why the student loan debt, people keep talking about, but it's like, but the problem with them is, yes, they did work. They went to school. A lot of them have mid jobs or they're senior level, but they still can't afford anything because they're making payments on their student loans.
Yeah.
So they're making money, but they're like, it's going out as fast as it comes in. And you don't get a break on student loans, just to let y'all know. There's no, Christmas time comes, so you ain't got to make a payment.
Yeah, take your whole check.
Yep. And if you don't pay, and it affects your credit, you know what I'm saying? So they got you, they double ding you. If you don't pay, then your credit's hurt now. So they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And like you said, you know, I don't think millennials don't work, because I know a lot of millennials, they work really hard, but the problem is they're not making enough money for themselves and to pay all their bills and the student loans and all the debt that they have that came with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, student loans, along with income taxes, is one of the few agencies you can go take your check. Just like, without even asking, you look up being a negative. How you get a negative damn check? You know what I'm saying? Like, I still owe money. You know, next paycheck, I ain't gonna make no money.
Right.
Nope. So no, it's serious, and you know, and it's a struggle. I mean, that's why like I said, I don't think it falls on being lazy. I think honestly, a lot of it makes sense on what they're talking about and trying to improve it. Once again, I think it's just the work ethic. Like, you know, I hate to say it, and I always tell kids this: look, if that was figured out, it'd have been figured out a long time ago. A way to just start off and make money right off the gate.
Right.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, yeah, it's good to have an education, but you got to have experience. You got to put in the reps. You got to put in the work. That's in anything in life. There's nothing that you're going to do. And I say, even when you're looking at people, and a lot of, let's say, the social media thing, because we, like his generation, actually say, hey, you know what, y'all think y'all gonna get on Instagram and just become rich like everybody else.
Right.
That's our favorite line to tell somebody like that. Even with that, if you look at any of the influencers, they got to work at that. They got to invest in that. That just didn't happen overnight. Every now and then you'll get somebody that might go viral or something and get instant gratification, but that's like the lottery.
Yeah.
You know, somebody wins the lottery every now and then and they get millions of dollars, but what's your chances in doing that? So you got to have a plan and you got to start working for something, even if you're trying to be a social influencer or a comedian or whatever. It's got to be a plan by that, and you got to work towards that. Even people in Hollywood or whatever, they're doing that. Most of them are waiting tables or doing some kind of job as they're trying to land movie roles. You know what I'm saying? So it's people right now you seeing on TV that are working another job. You know what I'm saying? Because the acting jobs don't come often. So just just that work ethic part is basically what it is on how are you going to get there. Everything, like Sean said, we agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
it all makes sense, but we all know that because a lot of us experience one way, shape, or form, having the education, go to school, working your job 20 plus years, you have to put in that work to get what you want and get to the pay that you want to get to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you also can put in some work by clicking on that like button. Put in that like button work, people. Okay, click it, stick it. I ain't gonna say the other word, but
gets me every time, man.
Also, I try. Also, make sure that you subscribe if you want to see more stories like this and have more common sense conversations coming to your ear hole. But another thing that I just wanted to touch on real quick is that these are all valid reasons, like we're all saying, but we also know that, you know, when we came up, we looked at our parents. We didn't expect to like be where our parents were as soon as we stepped out the door and started working. You know what I'm saying? We were willing to get out there and struggle or do whatever we needed to do to get there. Like when we got married, we wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have a house tomorrow, right? We was like, we got to do this work. Here's the thing. Here's our plan. Here's what we got to do to get there, right? But even though the Gen Z and millennials are bringing up these points about the things that are wrong with the labor force, I think that it's helpful as well from a perspective of they could change the way the workforce is today. Like I said, 2024, a lot of states went ahead and said, hey, I guess we got to raise our minimum wage because they hear these complaints that Gen Z and millennials have. And it's a benefit to all of us that they're complaining about these things. Work-life balance, working from home, technology, things like that they're able to leverage and say, look, fool, we don't have to go to work every day. I got appointments I got to do, or I got some things that I got to wait for my refrigerator to be delivered. So I'm going to stay at home today and, you know, work at the same time while I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? So there are benefits that we're actually seeing. And I can look at what they're saying today and say, okay, could we have more benefits from this? Could our work week change? You know, they did that experiment in Europe where they had a 4-day, 32-hour work week. And you get paid the same like you work 40 hours. Salary don't change, but you work at 32 hours, 4 days a week. They did an experiment with several countries over there. And some of those countries kept it in place. They were like, this works. And people are just as productive. So give them that extra day off. Because what people were doing was they were working harder to get all their work done so that they could have 3 days off. You know what I'm saying? So it was worth it to them.
Like we usually do on a holiday. We do
the same thing, right? Exactly. So shorter work weeks. Could they like change the benefits? Like one thing I noticed with my job, man, we got a lot of extra benefits that we didn't have before. We didn't even think of before. I get legal services now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I do,
you know what I'm
too.
saying? Yeah. I got legal services. Like, hopefully, God forbid, you know, we could do like power of attorney. We could do a will, standard will, living will, all this for free.
Yeah, I'm about to take advantage of that.
Like we got like benefits now for what's the other one that I was thinking of? Oh, Norton. Identity theft protection. That thing where like if somebody steals your identity, you get like $1 million something worth of protection, and we got that now. All that stuff comes with our benefits. So
I need to get that way.
Could there be things like that, and it comes with part of our benefits package? I'm like, all right, cool, for $9 a month before tax, go ahead and take that. You know what I'm saying? So there are things that maybe life insurance. We people pass away. We're at our age now. We see friends and family pass away early in their lives, unfortunately. And some of these people, they don't have life insurance outside of work. If you don't get it, because that's a life insurance policy you own. If you change jobs, can't nobody take it from you. But as soon as you leave your current job, if that's the only place you got life insurance, it's gone once you leave that job.
Got to wait 3 months to get the new.
So could there be benefits coming from what Gen Z and millennials are saying that not only help them, but help all of us to have a better, you know, life altogether?
Yeah. Let me chip in on this real quick. You're gonna love this, Rolanda, because you hate Texas government like I hate Texas government. $7.25 an hour, bro. Minimum wage still in the state of Texas.
Hey, and do you know a burger? Because I just went and got him one. A quarter pounder costs $4.62. A burger. Not the fry, not the drink, a burger, $4.62, but you're making $7.25.
That's 45 minutes gone.
$75.20 You know, and
$7.25.
$7.25. And I thought about it. I remember like back in the 80s, and we were making like $4.25.
Yeah, we're making
something
something
like that.
Right.
I remember I hit $10 an hour and thought I was like rich. Like, oh, I'm making $10. But $7.25 in 2024, man. Come on, man. Like, you know, they got a store called Five Below.
Yeah.
You can't even go to Five Below, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, $20. That's a whole day's work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not even a whole day's work, damn near. Shoot. But come on, man. Like, how greedy can you be? And I don't understand politicians to look at the world and be okay with paying people $7.25. Like, how? And fight that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh man, man, that $7.25, man. We had that back in 1997 or some shit like that. Like, we don't need to raise that, man. People look good. Everything went up, bro. Like, my argument with people that complain about prices, like, bro, that's the world.
Everything.
I don't know nothing that's like went up and we took it back. Like, everything goes up every year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Why don't wages go up?
McDonald's, back in the day when we ordered McDonald's, you paid $4.50 and you got a burger and you got a drink and a French fry. Right. Now I'm paying $4.62 just for the burger, $3.50 just for the French fry. This is insane. So how do people supposed to live? And again, minimum wage supposed to be for those younger generations, like your 20s and your teenagers. We get that, but a lot of them are going to school. So how are they surviving? Like how do they live? They can't. So they are dependent on. So you're making them dependent on someone else. There's no way they can go out there and live in an apartment, pay for their gas, eat, without some assistance.
Well, some companies, like, I think McDonald's starts you off like $13 or something like that, whatever they got. So companies are doing that.
Trying, yeah.
But come on, minimum wage, like, what are y'all talking about, man? Like, and like, what company is like, well, you know what, man, shit, we just gonna pay a minimum wage. Like, really? Like, I love the list of companies that's just like rocking with the minimum wage amount. Like, come on, man.
I think your small businesses maybe have to, but they have to because they don't get that extra support. But your corporations, no.
A lot of the small businesses are complaining in the states where minimum wage is going up. They're saying that they can't afford to pay their employees, so they're going to have to let go people. So there's that argument from an entrepreneurial standpoint that they can't afford it. But at the same time, to your point, I'm pretty sure they've been raising their prices on stuff. Even if you're a small business, you still got to compete with Walmart, Target, whoever else is selling the same goods and services that you are. So your prices should be competitive, like maybe a little bit less, but still you ain't like charging somebody like $10 whole less than what Walmart's charging. You know what I'm saying? So you should still be able to pay, but I don't know their business. I'm not in their books, so I can't say it.
I've had the pleasure of working for small business owners. And most of the time, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it because they can get rid of it. Most of the time, they're just padding their pockets or doing whatever, or just taking, or most of the time, they're spending the profit, not investing it, right? Pay your people. I don't care what you're talking about. Like, if you want to stay up there, pay your people and don't pay them $7.20. If you're paying $7.25, you probably ain't got too many damn employees anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody going to, unless they just desperate to have a job, they're not going to stay with you. It means too many jobs out there. They can go to McDonald's, like you say, make $14 an hour. Why would I go work $7.25 for this dude? So nah. And I work with too many bad small business owners that cheated the people on the labor side, and I was like managing them and having to fight. They were paying me good,
but weren't paying the people.
They were going on trips in Acapulco and all that stuff, but they weren't paying the people. So no, that's bullshit. That's just a way of them trying to keep money in their pocket.
Yeah. And Steve on YouTube says, I think that the younger generation is much more aware of the wage gap in America than we were when we were their age.
Agree. But they need to go out there and vote. That's why they need to be more politically involved, because it's impacting them. Like I said, in 2025, you're going to be most of our workforce. So if you want some changes, you better get in there and,
make it happen.
Start voting.
Yeah. Speaking of voting, Nikki Haley, tricky Nikki. She trying to trick everybody to make her think she's somebody she ain't. But anyway, Nikki Haley was at a town hall in New Hampshire, and she was asked what caused the Civil War. Somehow, neglectful Nikki forgot that slavery existed.
He's hitting them in words.
Neglectful Nikki forgot about the enslavement of millions of black people, and instead focused on states' rights. So, needless to say, that raised some eyebrows and got some people asking if this was a genuine oversight, a calculated political move, or something else entirely. So, Ace,
Nope and nope. You know what I'm saying?
what do you think?
All right. So I'll break it down. Like the question, what was the cause of the Civil War? I mean, that's sixth grade? When sixth grade, we learned about that or something? Like that's the easiest question known to man when it comes to the Civil War. Like that's hands down, like the easiest. So why would somebody get up and ask her such an easy question? Is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you about to get national TV. Why would you come with that? And I think it was on. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was kind of. I can't say staged, but it was said with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna ask her that. What was the purpose? Because I think they knew that was her belief. She was one of these people that kind of believed in that rhetoric, and it's usually white supremacists that kind of say, they don't really want to talk about slavery. They kind of want to hide it. They want to hide the education and the history behind it. And when they talk about the cause of slavery, they lean on state rights instead of that being the cause for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think somebody had that knowledge about it, came and answered that question because they knew it was going to throw her into a loop. Here's the issue with that is, out of all those idiots running in a Republican primary, and I hate to say it, but it's just a travesty on who ran. I believed in Nikki Haley.
I did too.
I liked what she talked about. I liked, her take on even abortion. I like the fact that she took maybe a common sense approach, even when it came to talking about Trump, even though she yet and said she was going to support him. But, she was more of a moderate than all of them.
Right.
So when they threw this to me, it kind of made me not trust what her real intentions are, basically, even for running for president or whatever, because like, how do you fumble an easy question like that we all been knowing since the sixth grade? And why would you fumble that question? Why are you denouncing slavery? Well, that has a white supremacist feel behind it. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? You have some beliefs that somebody knows and asks you that question. Even the person asked the question said, hey, you know what? You already answered my question, and sat down pretty much. You know what I'm saying? As he said that. So they did that because I think they wanted to kind of expose that, you know what, she's really somebody that she's not. She's really being somebody she isn't. Well, if I'm correct, when it came to bringing down the civil rights flag in South Carolina, first and foremost, she was kind of opposed to that, and then she kind of flipped when things were going her way. But that just starts telling a lot, of what she believes in, and how she approaches things when it comes to that.
Yep, I'd agree. Well, I went and Googled, because I was like, let me see, maybe she really didn't understand the question, or you go back and forth, like, really, is this where we're at? So when you Google, if you just Google, civil rights, the first thing it says, the Civil War in the United States, when it occurred from 1861 to 1865, was primarily about issues related to slavery, states' rights, and regional tensions between the northern and southern states. The southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America, leading to conflict that ultimately aimed to determine the state of slavery. So with her having the educational background, you do start to wonder, like, why would you not make it's there? Why won't you talk about
Just
it?
being an American.
Right. So she goes back and said, I should have said slavery, but in my mind, that's given. That's everybody associates the Civil War with slavery. Well, if everybody associates it with slavery, why, when you had the opportunity to talk about it, you didn't talk about it? And then she kind of doubled down and came back after asking her questions. This is what bothered me more than the civil rights one. She goes, I had Black friends growing up. What do people always say? I'm not racist. I got a Black neighbor.
That's that
I'm not
number one
racist.
thing right there that we do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they say that, man, that's
boy. So I'm just turned out, and I really was a Nikki Haley fan. And anybody knows, like, I'm not really swinging on that party side, but I was like, I did like Nikki Haley, and now all this stuff is coming out, and now I'm questioning, like, who are you, Nikki Haley? Are you afraid of offending people? I mean, is this who you are? Do you want to play both sides and kind of, I want to cater to this side, and I also want to cater, but I don't know who I am, and I don't if I don't trust you, I can't rock with you. And that remark itself speaks of tokenism. Just to let y'all know, please, people who are not Black, you can't go around saying I'm not racist because I got a Black friend. The first thing that comes to mind is you're questionable and suspect.
That is racist right there. I guess she's better than DeSantis because DeSantis thinks slavery's a 400-year trade school that black people went through.
But
divide for Negroes.
But I respect him because that's who he is. At least he's
Yeah.
telling you who he is. See, Nikki
Yeah.
Haley. Now I'm like, who are you, Nikki? Who are
we know
you,
who she is
Nikki?
now. We
You
know who
know,
she is.
so.
You know what I'm saying?
But here's my thing, man. I agree with both of y'all, but I think this is so complex of an issue because let's say, like you said, Ace, she's talking and she's like, I'm not going to say anything about slavery because I'm out here supporting these white supremacists. So I ain't going to say nothing bad about slavery. I ain't going to bring that up. Why would she come back later and say, well, I know it's about slavery? Why would she continue to say, well, it wasn't about slavery? If she wants the white supremacists to embrace her, you know what I'm saying? It kind of is complex to a point where I'm like, is she just one of them people who like wants to have everybody just like her? Like she want to play both sides of the fence. Don't know, like, you ever had a friend who like agrees with everything everybody says? Nigga, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? She's like that. Like, I'm gonna agree with everybody because I want everybody to like me. Everybody ain't gonna like you. Okay. Yeah, no matter what you do, what you say, whether they don't like you in your face or behind your back, you're gonna have somebody that don't like you. So you're always better off just really saying what you feel. And I don't know if she's done that. Because on one hand, she didn't say slavery. And I wouldn't say she denounced or she wasn't denouncing slavery. She just didn't say it. But then could that be denounced? Like, could it be? It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, she comes back and says, well, of course it was slavery. I got a black friend. Okay, so what are you? What do you really stand for?
And who's your black friend?
Yeah, show me proof of that. Just because your kid, she showed a picture of, wasn't her kid was with a black kid, like graduating. He was holding an arm around another black kid. I said, what is going on now?
Now you're showing right. That's what I'm saying. Like, just be who you are. And she's the first Indian American, right, to serve in a presidential cabinet. So she says, I know racism because, you know, I'm a minority myself and I've had experiences, you know, and that's fine, Nikki.
She ain't playing that role. She ain't living on no reservation
right,
and all that.
Exactly.
Man, come on, Nikki Haley.
You know,
she got Indian.
Yeah, she's an Indian American. Yeah. She's Indian American.
That's even worse, man.
Okay, so when you say to
Indian American,
that means she's
Native
from
American.
India.
No, Native American.
No, I think she's Native.
Native Americans, what she's saying, I think.
No,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I got to look
Indian. Indian American mean you from India,
I think
Asia.
Like
that would be more believable to me than her being.
She said she's Indian American.
Indigenous. I don't think she's an indigenous, but is she?
Oh no, yeah, maybe she's
because Indian American means Asia. You from India?
Well, yeah. Let's see. National. Should I look ethnicity?
I don't know.
Wait,
here's what kills me. And on the point that you got to say, Sean.
Ooh, she was born in India.
Yeah, that's what I thought. When you say Indian American, it means India.
India. So she's early. Yeah, she's
okay. Well, my fault. I'm gonna have to throw an Indian American like it's 1950s.
Yeah,
like, no Native American.
Like you're still rooting for the Redskins.
Yeah. Asian heritage.
I'm all bad with the. I'm from Indian reservations.
Native American.
I did too.
I was like,
it wasn't just you.
I did Native American.
They cancel me on that.
I'm just always asking questions. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, glad you asked. But here's the deal. Why are we in a political situation, right? Where like, you know, when you're talking about slave, we have to cater to some people, right?
Did I talk about right?
That want to denounce slavery or the Holocaust or whatever, like some things that actually happened. There's a strong. The Republicans feel right now there's a strong political presence in their party to the point where they have to cater to that. We got to cater to bigots, basically is what it is. Yeah. And I can't say something because the bigots won't come out and vote for me.
Yeah.
And that's what the sad part is. Regardless of what she's saying, that's basically what it is she stumbled on that question because she knows there's a part of that party that if she says that, they're not going to vote for him.
Yeah.
And we know who those people are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and is that where we are?
Yeah.
2024.
We was that way when Trump was elected.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when I fall back and I say, when people talk about 1964, that wasn't that long ago to where we got civil rights. We ain't talking about equal rights. We're talking about civil rights. Just treat us right. That's what civil rights is. Just treat us like a human being. That's it.
Right.
And we're in 2024. We have a presidential candidate that has to dance around words when it comes to one of the most obvious things that happened in history, because it'll piss off a certain amount of people in this country and they won't vote for.
And that's what you're worried about.
That's
my concern. That's what you're worried about.
That's what you're worried about.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you know, and you want to take that, you know, you want to take it to a little bit further and, you know, not to turn this to, you know, just completely political. Trump didn't even come to any primary debates. No. So political was basically, he didn't even have a primary. You know what I'm saying? So we can't do that because, hey, man, he got so many votes. He's so influential with his bullshit that we got to cater to that. He ain't even got to show up and he's still winning. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people out there that are so blind to the fact I'm just going to vote for him because he's saying the things they want to hear or doing the things that they want to hear. And this slavery thing is part of that bullshit. And and she, to the point, she might just be somebody who's flip-flopping, like Malik is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like he's flip-flopping left and right. But why is that even possible?
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And as I said, you know, that's like Elvis and John Wayne. You know what I'm saying? They still uphold them as American heroes. We know how they were. You know, Elvis maybe. We know John Wayne was a son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Well, you know, like you said, I've said this before that, you know, Trump found out that if he catered to the hate groups out there, that he would get more votes, and that those groups embraced him, and now they know that is a demographic that they need to address. They've been ignored. The hate groups and supremacists have been ignored since like the 70s from a political standpoint. No one talked about them. Nobody touched on them. Now people are catering to them, just like you need to cater to that like button. So make sure that you click on the like button. Also, make sure that you subscribe for more episodes of Left-Wing Kingz.
He flipped himself this time.
I got me for this one. So, you know, I don't know, like some of the other things that really go through my mind when I think about Nikki Haley is, like you said, flip-flopping, whatever, right? Playing both sides of the fence. Maybe she is a racist. I don't know. But one thing that I know for sure, now I don't even know for sure, but one thing that I'm speculating is that she's keeping doors open to be on the Trump cabinet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that she said a few things about Trump in this town hall, right? But not enough to really separate herself from him enough where he would not see it as a benefit in having her serve under him in his cabinet. So I think that she's really setting herself up to be second place so that she can get a job. Personally, that's what I think.
But then she served under him before.
Well, as an ambassador.
As an ambassador, right? Yeah.
Like
so she's already served under him before. So I guess she's comfortable with that because there's no way I would work for a man like that.
Well, I mean, being in the cabinet is different than
right. Oh yeah, it's a step up. I'm just saying she's already worked underneath him because she was like the U.S. ambassador.
Yeah, so. and the primary set up specifically for them to really tear each other up and go at it politically and just see who's going to be the winner out of that. And Trump hadn't had to go through that at all. I mean, Christie did a little bit, but everybody else just kind of fell in place, and that's just sad.
That's the only reason I like Chris Christie too. I was like, no, I don't like Chris Christie, but you know what I mean. But I respect him because he's like, I'm not riding with y'all. I'm gonna say what I need to say and be who I am, but that ain't working out for him.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that's what it is. But yeah, with the Nikki Haley thing, man, it's just, you know, she's just suspect now. You know what I'm saying? Just basically,
I'm sad.
You know, she's just suspect, and that was very. And like I said, I know that was calculated. It had to be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the easiest question you could ask anybody that's past the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And took history. You know what I'm saying? Which they're trying to get rid of, but other than
that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's also part of the Republican talking points is that they don't want to talk about slavery. So even if she's not talking to the white supremacists, she may be talking to the Republican base as a whole, where they're trying to diminish the existence of slavery by not talking about it in schools, taking that out of books, you know, downplaying it, saying that it makes people feel guilty. People who weren't even alive during slavery. I don't know how you guilty of something you wasn't alive during, but I mean, it is what it is. This could be another aspect of that whole approach that the Republican Party is taking to try to diminish diversity, slavery, all of those things. So by her not bringing it up, she could just be trying to you know, put it in a hole and hide it. So
because they talk about like if you don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist.
mhm.
So for them, it's
Morgan
like just
Freeman.
don't. Yeah, right. Like if you don't
He
talk about
said
any
that.
racial, then it doesn't exist, and everything life is great, and so you just don't address concerns and issues. That is their platform.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I want to thank everybody for checking us out this week. It's been a pleasure. We are back in the building. We are going to be going strong week after week after week.
We're here.
So we are here back in the building. I do want to apologize. You probably be seeing this after the fact. People on Facebook, our live stream dropped for some strange reason. Tried to, do a little bit of magic on the side to fix it, but I wasn't able to. Still live streaming to all of my people out there on YouTube, though. So thank you guys for sticking with us. I want to thank all of our listeners out there for checking out the podcast. And I just want to say thank you for all of your support over this last year. We are now in season 2, episode 1. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Be easy.
Yeah. They gotta go.